Hello and welcome to Taylor Talks Comics. Today we're going to unbox and do an overview of the Complete Hate box set, which was just released from Fantagraphics. Okay, so this here is the box set of the Complete Hate inside of here. And as you can see, I've got a special backdrop for us today of Peter Bagge books. I've even done a video on my channel of the Complete Neat Stuff box set. And this here is the Complete Hate, which was my most anticipated release of 2020. And I'm so excited to open it. I wanted to do it on camera here. This is my first unboxing video on the channel, and I can't promise that there will be too many more, but this is so special that I want to make sure I did it in all its glory here. Alright, so the Complete Hate is Peter Bagge's comic book series that ran for... Okay, I had to edit that because it might have my address on it. But alright, so first we open it up and we have a signed card here from Peter Bagge. So Fantagraphics has been doing this recently with if you pre-order books from them. So it's really cool to have autographed Peter Bagge. Signed signature, even has the or signed book plate. Even has the new Fantagraphics logo there, exclusive book plate. Nothing on the back. But I pre-ordered this months ago because like I said, it was my most anticipated release of 2020. So this came directly from Fantagraphics. You can see they packaged it really well with foam on the insides of it. I have to carefully take this out without bumping the camera. There we go. Okay. All right. So as I was saying earlier, the Complete Hate, or Hate, was a comic book that Peter Bagge did from 1990 to 1998. It ran 30 regular issues, and then he followed it up with, I believe, 9 annuals. I'll try to do this carefully here. And all of that is included in this box set. Now, if you're wondering what Hate was an underground style comic. A cartoony, surrealist, slice of life comic book. There was also a social and political commentary on life in the 90s. A lot of people cite it as being like the definitive statement of the 90s. So here's this beautiful front cover box set with Buddy Bradley. Do a complete overview here. Here's the top with some caricatures of the characters that you'll, not caricatures, they're just the characters that will appear in the box set. And you get that back on the back too here. And then here's the back cover. And it feels like this is like a sticker on here. I don't know if I can peel that off or not, or if I'm supposed to even. I don't know. I'll try to do that later because I'm gonna do it very carefully. But there's the back cover. Here's the bottom. Oh, got upside down here. With the UPC and a little comic strip there. And here's the spines of the books here. I'll get out each one and check them out. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty safely packaged. Maybe a couple little minor dings on the corners, no big deal. So yeah, and I want to do a side-by-side comparison to Neat Stuff because, like I said, I did a whole overview on this channel, so I'm not going to talk about that too much here. It does look like Neat Stuff is a little bit taller on the trim size. Oh, I can't even show. I'm not showing that on the camera there. Okay. So it looks like Neat Stuff's a little bit taller there. And the Neat Stuff books also run a little bit wider. can bring that on here. And maybe I'll do a comparison of the books to books, but neat stuff though. You really need to get your hands on this. It's not necessary to enjoy Hate, but it is the perfect companion because the Buddy Bradley character and the Bradley family are introduced in Neat Stuff. This is like an anthology series that Peter Bagge did, and the Buddy Bradley and the Bradley family debuted in here, and then they went on to just exclusively take over the comic book when Peter Bagge did Hate. Okay, so let's get the books out here. Here's book 1. Here's book 2. And here's book 3 with the covers. So again, I want to do a quick trim size comparison with the Neat Stuff books. And when I did the the overview, I realized too that these books here for Neat Stuff were the exact same trim size as the hardcovers for the Don Rosa Scrooge McDuck books that Fantagraphics put out. Alright, so here's a book-to-book comparison. You can see that Neat Stuff's a little bit taller and wider. So if you have the Neat Stuff collection, you'll know how it sits on the shelf together. Alright, so let's open these up. What do we have here? Book 3. Okay, so I believe I've seen some interviews. Oh, here's some great end papers too. I've seen some interviews with Peter Bagge recently because he's been really promoting this box set pretty heavily on people's channels on YouTube and interviews with other cartoonists and that kind of thing. Like there's a interview with Noah Van Skyver on Noah's YouTube channel. It's pretty great. So this first book here, the first hardcover, looks like it includes Hates 1 through 15, which gives you the years there too. And consistent design choices here from the spine, which is great too. I do wonder who designed this. Original series book design, Keely McCarthy. Okay. I always like to highlight that, especially for Fantagraphic books, because 1, book design really interests me, and 2, Fantagraphics really puts the best collections together and the best book designs. My favorite being Jacob Covey, but Keely McCarthy does a great job too. So here's the table of contents. It's giving you the dates that each issue was published and like the title of each issue. And it looks like this starts off with the cover gallery. So it has an introduction from Peter Bagge, which this introduction looks like it was written. Let me see. Oh, in 2018. So this is a new introduction written from Peter Bagge. And it includes some artwork. The Hate Ball tour that Peter Bagge did with Dan Klaus, which that would be an awesome print to have, or poster. I wonder if I can hunt that down. That'd be pretty awesome to have in my office. And then here's when Peter Bagge appeared on the cover of Entertainment Weekly. So this one, it looks like, based on judging from the table of contents and also what I see here, the covers start off each collection. So this has covers 1 through 15. So the covers for this collection, this book alone, are in this hardcover. I believe the Neat Stuff, if I remember correctly, all the covers were in the back of volume 2 for the entire run of Neat Stuff. So here they're all collected together again, but they're collected in the beginning. Which I don't, no pun intended, I don't hate the idea of that, but I do prefer when comic books that are collected like this have the covers start off each issue, because then it's like you're actually reading the full issue in itself, like as if you were collecting it from your comic book shop back in the 90s. So let's flip through here. What is Neat Stuff? What is Hate? Hate was like I said, Buddy Bradley and the Bradley family and all his friends here were all debuted in. Sorry, I just want to quickly check. So 43. Okay, so there is no true separation between issues or anything. Yeah, so I mean, you get like the end here. This is the end of the one issue. I think it's issue 2 or issue 1 maybe. Okay. Editorial. Yeah, it's issue 1. Okay, so this is issue 2. So that's the chapter break you get. This is like the splash image that you would get to open up a comic book. So you kind of, I mean, and it says the end, so you can kind of tell when a new issue, one issue ends and one issue begins. It's not that big of a deal, but like I said, I do prefer like the cover there as a chapter break, because then you get like a kind of a satisfactory beginning. But yeah, so Hate ran, like I said, from 1990 to 1998, and it really became like the anthem of the 90s, and the disgruntled, here's another chapter break, angst of a teenage life, and most predominantly in the Seattle area, and then later New Jersey, when Buddy would move to Jersey. So a lot of people will say that you can see like Buddy Bradley's uniform here, or his attire, is the flannel shirt. And you can see that those are reminiscent of the 90s. You think 90s, you think flannel, you think the grunge era of music with Nirvana and Pearl Jam and what have you. So Peter Bagge had moved to Seattle because he's really working with Fantagraphics after Neat Stuff. And that's where Fantagraphics is located, is in Seattle. So as he was living out there, he was like really immersed into that culture. However, people have said that he kind of like rode the coattails of the grunge era, and he has actually talked about that in recent interviews, saying that really wasn't the case, because the sales for Hate issue number 1 and the sales for like Hate issue number 9 and 10, and whenever you'd think that grunge era really booming, didn't really make that much of a difference. Like, it wasn't like there was like some big, as you know, Nirvana and Pearl Jam and stuff were hitting the stride. It's not like Hate, the sales for Hate like grew exponentially because of that, you know, pairing with the grunge movement. So he kind of really shoots that theory down, that he was, and you know, on top of that, the fact that it debuted in 1990, just prior to that grunge era. So if anything, it was just kind of the beginning of the wave and was a part of it, if anything. So you got some more great in papers for book 1. And if you're not familiar with Peter Bagge's work, like I said, he has a lot of good books out here. I have it here in the background. Neat Stuff is great. I'm probably going to be highlighting Peter Bagge on this channel quite often, because he is one of my favorite cartoonists. And so subscribe to the channel. Like this video too, I should say that. Comment down below with your experience with Peter Bagge. I should probably be relaxing the spines on these, right? And stay tuned, because I'll probably be doing a lot more Peter Bagge videos. Okay, so this is book 2. So again, mirroring the in papers, very uniform compared to the other one, different color here. And then again, on the front cover, it tells you, so this includes Hate 16 through 30 and the years. So the first 2 volumes include the first run of Hate, the first volume, if you will, of just the first 30 straight issues. And then volume 3 will have the annuals in it. So again, another table of contents, very reminiscent, and we also see the covers kick off the volume here. And then we see color. All right, so that's pretty cool too, because Hate would eventually be colored, and starting with issue 16, so it's a good kind of a break here, that volume 1 is like the black and white era of Hate, and then volume 2 kicks off the color era. That's kind of cool how they did that. Yeah, I was seeing who colored it, because eventually Peter's wife, Joanne Bagge, would be the colorist for a lot of his works. Like a lot of the books in the background you see here, she was the colorist for. Looks like in this era, though, it was Mary Woodring, Jess Johnson, and Joanne Bagge were the colorists. So it's interesting. All right, so but if you're not familiar with Peter Bagge's work, so it's, obviously you can see it's a very surrealist, cartoony style. Very, you know, all these characters have very rubbery limbs, but it's like also very genius cartooning. The fact that like these surrealist characters fit so perfectly into these real world settings that he places them into. It very much feels like an Adult Swim cartoon before Adult Swim cartoons were even a thing. Or you think of like in the 90s, you had like The Simpsons, and later on you'd have like King of the Hill, like those primetime cartoons made more for adults. Like that's what Hate feels like a lot, which is interesting because Hate has been optioned by Hollywood for movies and TV shows a number of times. And Peter Bagge's made quite a healthy living just off of people optioning it so many times, but it's never come to fruition. And one of the more interesting stories I'd heard on an interview recently was that Fox was really working for between two cartoons to debut on their network, and it was Hate or Bob's Burgers. And there's a Marvel Comics reference. So Peter Bagge, and he was like working with making the, putting the show together. He said he had a fellow creator helping him with that. And Fox went to him and said, who would be your voice actors that you would choose for like Buddy and his friends and family in the show? And he said he named off like a handful of people, and they all turned out to be working for Bob's Burgers, and then Bob's Burgers got the option. They became a hit TV show that's been running for, I don't know, like 7 or 8 seasons now. I can't remember, but I do love Bob's Burgers, so I'm not upset that they beat out Peter Bagge for that, but it works so perfectly for a show. But that doesn't mean, comic books don't always have to be adapted, and you get so much enjoyment out of this. So these comics, like I said, they're like kind of a surrealist slice of life style. So you'll see a lot of pop culture references. You'll see characters reading comic books, or listening to music and commenting on that, and then just having their day-to-day issues in a slice of life style of having like, struggles with their jobs and whatnot. And actually, admittedly, I haven't read a lot of Hate comics. I had like 6 or 7 issues, I think. I was trying to put the run together until last year when this book collection was announced, and then I put that on hold, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to sell these and then try to get the collection. The only thing missing, I would say, from these collections that you would get if you were collecting the single issues would be the letters pages. And letters pages aren't like a huge deal with I don't know, with some people, but with underground cartoonists like this, they're kind of funny because you'll get to hear and read a lot of the cartoonists' thoughts on like the comic book industry and those kinds of things, and they're very realistic and honest in them, so you get a lot of fun laughs out of reading just the letters pages. So here's volume 3, includes Hate Jamboree, Hate Annual 1 through 9, and then everything else that took place from 1990 to 2010. So there's probably a lot of extras in this volume. So just real quickly, get some nice end papers there. Here's the table of contents in this one. Great 2-page splash. And then Hate Annual. And here's the covers for all the annuals, which I'll talk about here in a second. But the letter pages are not included in this collection. And Peter talked about saying that he really kind of wanted to put them in there because he wanted this to be an all-inclusive, like as if you had the comic book issues in a collection. But then he also said that what was in those letters from a lot of fans and stuff, he didn't know if it had their addresses and their full names and stuff, and he didn't know. I mean, he didn't want to incriminate or hurt anybody's ability to have a job or anybody come out. I don't know. It was kind of like Peter was afraid that he was going to lead to having somebody have trouble in their life just because their letter appeared in Hate. And that's unfortunate. I wish they were included. I wish he would have just done something funny, like redacted their names or something. So we can still have those in here. So if you're wanting the letters pages and the full Hate experience, I guess you'd have to put the run together in single issues. So these are the Hate annuals. So after the 30 issues of Hate, Peter then began releasing one comic book issue of Hate as an annual. So every year one would come out. And this really started to show the Buddy Bradley character in more of his adult life. He gets married. I believe he has a kid at some point too. Like I said, I haven't read this era of Hate. This will be my first experience. And I'll probably do a full review of this collection too after I read it, diving more into like the stories and characters and whatnot. This is just an unboxing and an overview. But it started to show more of his adult life and kind of mirroring Peter. He said that his view of Buddy Bradley, which is kind of a caricature of himself, was that he'd be going through life 10 years earlier than Peter Bagge was in his real life. So like the earlier Hates and Neat stuff, I'm mixing up the names. Earlier issues of Hate and Neat stuff, Buddy Bradley was in his teens when Peter Bagge was in his mid-20s as he was writing it. And now, as Buddy gets married and has children for the first time, Peter had done that. He was 10 years removed from that experience, I guess. So, just want to pause on that's great artwork there, and great lettering too. Like Peter Bagge, he does such great lettering. But and we get some black and white stuff too. Kind of a new coloring job there too. It's almost, this image here almost with all its rendering looks almost Robert Crummish. So I wonder if he was channeling his inner fandom of R. Crumb, which he did get his break into cartooning working on Weirdo magazine for R. Crumb, and then he would eventually take over as the editor, Peter Bagge would. So this is the first trade paperback, and this is my first experience reading. So I said I had single issues, but I also had this trade paperback prior to me hearing this collection was coming out, and I had that cover, and that's just one of the first Hate books that I read. And then here's some more trade paperback covers that we had. So we have volume 2 and 3, and then 4, 5, and then these were the bigger collections. So those were like smaller ones that collected like 6 issues, I believe. Yeah, 6 issues, because volume 5, 6 times 5, 30. So those were the first 30 issues. I believe, oh, that's 6. So I wonder if this was a different collection of some sort. But this one was Buddy Does Seattle. And this included, I believe, the first 15 issues. It's a thicker collection, which I believe is still in print. And then Buddy Does Jersey was the last 15 issues. I believe both those thick trade paperbacks were included. And this is Buddy Buys a Dump, which might have included the annuals. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments of anything I say. I don't mind admitting I'm wrong. And here's some like, looks like ink washed prints he did. And here's some fun articles that he made. These probably all appeared in the individual issues too, as like back matter or just extra ephemera kind of thing. Oh, there's a Buddy Bradley doll. I need to hunt that down. That'd be sweet to have. And here's some other ephemera that Buddy Bradley appeared on. There's a Hate Ball pin. That'd be sweet too. I need to start looking for this stuff. And then here's like, I have seen these pop up on eBay. These are like the those clown dolls that you hit with like in a Chuck E. Cheese or a carnival or fair. They throw the balls out and they knock them over. Those are those. And here's a cool questionnaire. So this is kind of also, this extra back matter is kind of stuff meeting Peter Bagge and his life, kind of like a biographical experience of what he was going through the entire time he created Hate. I wonder if this was I don't know what this was. I don't know how to read that. But here's the cast bios too, if he did for each character. And then more of the minor characters. So it's like a character index of all the characters you'll meet. And then here's a bio of Peter Bagge, a quick little paragraph bio. Alright, so let's talk about the build of the books too. So here's all the front covers. volumes. Oh, I guess I should put them in order, right? So this is volume 1, 2, and 3 that are included. Show you the back covers, all of them. I love this too, that he did the exact same style. This is new artwork too on these backboards. And he did a similar thing with Neat Stuff, where he just has like these giant character drawings over all new artwork. So it's very consistent too with both the hardcover collections. And then the binding on these was great. I noticed as I relaxed the spine and looked at them. So I guess let's do that real quick. I don't think I relaxed the spine on volume 1 yet. And you want to do this with any of your hardcovers to make sure that they, the binding doesn't get messed up. But you can see it lays flat. And you got a good eye there. And it lays flat as you read it. Even on the earlier pages, you're going to have to kind of hold it back, but these are all covers anyways. You're not going to be reading this. And by the time you get here, you know, it lays flat. See, you got an eye there. So they're all built really well. So yeah, this is the complete Hate. Let me put them back in the box here. There's the inside of the box too. I don't know if I showed that. Nothing, no artwork on the inside like the complete 8-ball box set. Yeah, so this is Peter Bagge's magna opus with this collection of 30 issues plus 9 annuals that he did. And he would go on afterwards to do a lot of this work that I have back here. These all took place after Hate. This was for Marvel Comics right here. This was the Incorrigible Hulk, he called them. And then let's do a side-by-side of what they'll look like on your bookshelf. I guess I need to spin it around to fit it into the camera. And then obviously you'd probably have this pushed up like that. So Hate Neat Stuff. And I usually have it on my bookshelf, the Neat Stuff one on the back. So I feel like this looks cooler on the bookshelf this way. But you can't really do that with Hate because there's no wording on the back. But yeah, so that's the complete Hate. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below if you're going to pick this up, and if this is currently out of stock on Fantagraphics website, but I wouldn't expect that to last long, don't worry. But if you're going to pick this up, comment down below if you like Peter Bagge or any of his works. Tell me your favorite books you have of him down below. If there's any, like I said, I'm probably going to eventually get to all these books on my channel, but if there's one in particular you want me to move to the forefront of a video I'm going to do, let me know. And go check out my Neat Stuff video if you'd like that too, and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching.